There's a point every NBA season where a team has to stop lying to itself. Not to the fans, not to the media, but to itself. The moment where the record isn't just bad luck anymore. Excuses stop landing, and where the mirror gets uncomfortable. And for the New Orleans Pelicans, that moment didn't creep up quietly, it hit them early and it hit them hard. 9-32 start doesn't just put you near the bottom of the standings, it doesn't just knock you out the playoff contention. It forces conversation that the team hates hearing out loud. Conversations about direction, about urgency, about whether the plan you sold everyone on still makes sense. This is usually the point in the season where front offices pivot, not out of panic, but out of clarity. You move veterans, you reshuffle the deck, you reclaim flexibility, and at least give yourself a future to sell. But as the deadline comes close, the New Orleans Pelicans have announced that they will not be making any significant moves this deadline. That includes Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Jordan Poole, Derek Queen, and Jeremiah Fierce. They have decided they didn't want to reset. They want to stay exactly where they are. No trades, no real changes, no signal that the season was being redefined. And normally when a season goes off the rails like this, there's only one consolation prize to soften the blow: a high first round draft pick. A clean slate, a fresh start. You can pivot and say, hey, at least there's that. Except for the New Orleans Pelicans. That safety net doesn't exist. Their first round pick doesn't belong to them. It belongs to Atlanta Hawks. So there's no tanking, there's no silver lining at the bottom of the standings. Every loss doesn't move you closer to hope. It just tightens the corner you're standing in. And when you strip everything else away, when you take away the noise, you take away the narratives out of it, the entire season narrows down to one unavoidable reality. The talent has never been the issue, their availability has. The season has been a disaster from the start, and it didn't take long to see why. Injuries didn't just derail the Pelicans, they defined them. Zion Williamson played 25 out of 41 games. Jordan Poole has played 22 out of 41 games. Herb Jones has played 23 out of 41 games. 3 out of 5 starters missed half the season. And on top of that, DeJounte Murray still hasn't suited up this year after tearing his Achilles just last year. And even when he does come back in the near future, whether it be the next couple weeks, whether it'll be a month from now, he still needs time to ramp back up. It'll still be some time before he is even close to the player he was just last year. That's not just a slump. That's a lineup that never gets to exist long enough to build rhythm, chemistry, or trust. It's a team constantly recalibrating on the fly, asking role players to play bigger roles, and asking consistency from a group that never shares the floor long enough to build it. When your season starts like that, you're not building momentum, you're just surviving game in and game out. And yet, in the middle of all the chaos, something unexpected happened. With so many bodies in and out of the lineup, a player most people haven't talked about in years and completely forgot about he's still in the league suddenly became an essential role to this team. And that player being Saddiq Bey. He stepped into a void and gave the Pelicans something they badly needed: scoring, stability, and a presence that didn't disappear night to night. As the starter this season, he's averaging 17.3 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game, and 2.7 assists. Matter more when you consider the context. He was producing while most of the roster around him was broken. When the starters outside of Trey Murphy were out, Bey became the scoring surge they needed the most just to stay competitive in most games. Not flashy, not dramatic, just reliable in a season where reliability has been rare. And then there's Trey Murphy, a player who somehow still doesn't get talked about enough. Not because he's the loudest voice or the flashiest personality, but because of how quietly important he's been. His value starts with something simple but crucial for this Pelicans team. He's available on the court, game in and game out. And for a team that's been begging for consistency all season long, that alone matters. But it's not just that. It's not just that he's playing, it's how he's playing. His ball handling has become a real part of his game. His shot selection from 3 is something everyone should be paying attention to. He's shooting 38% from 3, 37% on non-corner threes, and an absurd 50% on corner threes. Those aren't empty percentages. Those are reliable shots on game in, game out basis in which you need from a struggling Pelicans team that struggles to score on the offensive end. He's had 2 games this season with 40 or more points, 5 games with 30 or more points, and 9 games where he's knocked down 5 or more threes, and a majority of those games he's shooting above 40% from 3. Night after night, while the roster around him has shifted, he stayed steady. He's been their most consistent player all season long. And that's where things get complicated. Because as consistent as Trey Murphy has been, he's been the only positive trade value asset. And to be clear, I believe he shouldn't be traded at all and shouldn't be nowhere near included in trade talks. But the fact of the matter is, if anything, he's the type of player that you want to build around for a nearby future because he's still relatively young and could be a good serviceable player next to whoever the actual franchise star of this team ends up being. But the fact that he's even in that conversation tells you how narrow the Pelicans' options this year really are. And yet everything points to the New Orleans Pelicans choosing to double down, choosing not to make any trades, choosing to stay the course even as the season continues to slip. There's also one other bright spot that's impossible to ignore, and that's Derek Queen. In the minutes on the floor, he's looked legitimate, comfortable, composed, and a real passive facilitator out of the post. When he started this season, he is averaging 13.9 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and that production pops, especially considering his role and experience. Also, he did something no rookie in NBA history has done, which is record a 30-point triple-double. That's not a footnote, that's a moment. And a moment like that matters in a season like this, because they give fans something to hold on to, a little bit of hope, a little bit of glimmer that points to, hey, there is something here. But even that has its limits. As impressive as Queen has been, I can't justify the Pelicans giving up their first round pick this year for him. It doesn't suddenly make the bigger picture cleaner. It doesn't solve the structural issues staring this team in the face. Because when you zoom out, when we look past individual performances and the flashes of hope, you're left with a team that had every reason to change direction and chose not to. They could have finally regained control of their future and they didn't. That decision alone tells you exactly how the Pelicans view this season. Not as a failure, not as something broken beyond repair, but as a gamble. They're not ready to walk away from it. They're betting that the health changes the story. They are betting that the availability certainly flips, the narrative also does. They're betting that what they've seen so far isn't the truth, that's a disoriented version of it. And now it's time for the main attraction of this whole conversation. It's time to talk about Zion Williamson. Because no matter how many injuries you list, no matter how many role players step up, no matter how many flashes you get from the supporting cast, everything circles back to him. The franchise has been built around him. This season has been justified through him, and the patience has been extended because of him. But the reality is getting harder to ignore. This season, Zion is averaging 22.8 points per game, which is the second lowest in his career since his rookie season. 3.4 assists per game, again, the second lowest, also behind his rookie season. He's averaging 5.7 rebounds per game, which is the lowest of his career this far. His field goal percentage, 57.7%, which sounds fine when you realize that is the third lowest of his career. And yet everyone knows Zion isn't a shooter. No one's asking him to suddenly turn into a volume 3-point threat. But at this point in the season, to not even attempt the 3 is honestly wild. This season, he's 0-3 from 3 from the 25 games he's played, 3 attempts total in 25 games. Even his scoring near the basket, the area that's supposed to be automatic for him, tells a concerning story. He's shooting 69% from near the rim, which isn't terrible, but is tied for the second worst of his career. And here's the part people don't talk about. Zion Williamson in the mid-range shooting this year is shooting 30%. And that number feels even worse when you understand that these aren't difficult mid-range shots. These are shots within the 4 to 14 feet range from the basket. Shots that by year 6 should be automatic and should be a problem. Defenses should be guarding it. And that's the most damning part of this whole entire conversation. In year 6, Zion Williamson was every single flaw he had in his rookie year. His health has never improved. His availability has never stabilized. His shooting hasn't developed. He still won't attempt open threes. He still can't make a mid-range jump shot. He still hasn't improved as a rebounder. He's still reliant on his pure athleticism. And that athleticism is special, but on its own, it is not enough. He's in year 6, has never played in a playoff game. He's in year 6 and still can't make a jump shot. He's in year 6 and still will attempt one. He's in year 6 and struggles to make mid-range jump shots. He's in year 6 and still can't punish defenses. He's in year 6 and still can't be the best player on a playoff team. This is where the Pelicans situation turns from frustrating to suffocating, because all this leads back to one unavoidable reason, and that is Zion Williamson, and his trade value is in the absolute dirt. It's essentially non-existent. Around the league, he is no longer viewed as a future cornerstone. He's being viewed as a negative asset, a player whose talent comes with so much uncertainty that teams don't even know how to price it anymore. The once crowned future of the NBA has been reduced to something far more sobering. A college legend who never fully lived up to the hype. Not because the talent wasn't there, but because their growth never came and their availability never followed. And that's the harsh truth. The Pelicans are trapped inside. We all know why this team is struggling, and if nothing changes, we all know why they'll continue to struggle. Because everything they have built, everything they've waited on, and everything they have refused to move on from has been anchored to one player who is 6 years in and is still the same gamble he was on draft night. And there we have it. The New Orleans Pelicans will always be a poverty franchise just as long as Zion Williamson is their cornerstone player. And let me know what you guys think of the whole Zion and Pelican situation in the comments down below. Subscribe while you're here. Like for some more NBA content. While you're at it, subscribe to my second channel and all my socials down in the description down below. And as always, go hard on them dudes. Salute.